Hey all, this is Val here with another Dungeon Hunter Champions video. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at Nitro, the Fire Bomber. Alright guys, for those of you familiar with my streams, this guy is one of my favorite units to use in 5v5. He's just hilarious. I like him in every sense of the word. And then you gotta check out this animation. This guy really loves bombs. Like, really love bombs. Come on now. How could you not like that? How could you not like that? Well, not as good as my favorite girl, Abigail. That's still very entertaining. Okay, so let's stop looking at animations and let's get right into the review. We're going to start, as usual, with skills. So his auto attack skill, Bomb Shot, launches a bomb at a target enemy from a distance. The bomb explodes on contact, damaging enemies near the primary target. Bonus damage based on the number of debuffs on each affected enemy. So really we're not seeing any kind of theme here other than you want to run this guy if you're going to use him in any boss, including Outer Harbinger. You're going to want to run him with someone who does debuffs. Now I know Outer Harbinger isn't out, but this guy is a slow, hard-hitting attacker, so he is actually perfect for Outer Harbinger. So if you run him with a debuff team, you know, make sure you got all kinds of debuffs going on the boss. His auto attack skill 1 will do more damage. Now, because I said Auto Harbinger, I really wouldn't recommend rapid or attack speed on the shoulders to kind of maximize this, because you don't want to be too fast when fighting the Outer Harbinger. So really, you can stick with something that adds more damage, like Brutal or, of course, good old Mortal for attack. Skill 1, Dynamite. Throws a dynamite stick at a target point, damages enemies and pushes them back from the center of the explosion. If the bomber is caught in the explosion, it pushes him back without dealing damage. Damage dealt by this skill ignores shield buffs, which is good for PvP. It's good for so many places, right, to be able to ignore shields. Now, the knockback, what that is good for is 5v5. So if you're in a situation where you're trying to get away from someone in 5v5, you can actually bomb yourself to push yourself back. What I use it for in 5v5 as well, since I'll play tower defense a lot, is I'll drag them a little close to our tower, or turret, excuse me, and then what I'll do is I'll bomb behind them so the explosion pushes them forward into the tower, and usually I like to have his skill 2 waiting for them there, so when they try to run back out, they're slowed and they get hit by the tower and me. It's a very effective strategy I like using in 5v5, and pretty good because the bots will chase you and typically human players will chase you, especially if you're low and they feel they can get the kill. Now, on this skill, we can actually check out the details button. Look at that. So deals 6,071 attack. Wow, not much information, but at least we know it's attack scaling, right? So, based off skill 1, based off active skill 1, I am thinking he can be standard attacker. So, Mortal Keen. Standard. Especially with Outer Harbinger and you want to just hit hard. No doubt, Mortal Keen so far. You could also go Adept. Adept would, now I think about it, Adept's also a viable build. Still attack, crit damage attack though, even on Adept. Active skill 2, Explosive Sentry. Deploys a bombling sentry at target point to watch out for enemies. If an enemy is detected, the bombling will run towards it, exploding on contact. The explosion damages and slows nearby enemies. This skill has increased chances to land a critical hit based on the number of debuffs on the target. So again, you want to run him with a debuff team, so that way you can get the crit off on it. The slow is good for arena, especially if you're running with Astromasters, because anything that is slowed, Astromaster skill will ignore defense on it. So that's really good. Again, this is a skill I like to basically lay a trap for at my turret in 5v5, and then use my active skill 1 to knock them back into our tower, which slows them, so they take additional hits from the tower, and for me, hopefully killing them before they can get out. Let's take a look here at details. And again, you can see that slows enemies for 9 seconds, and it's attack scaling. So again, attack, crit damage attack on either mortal or on adept. Active skill 3, transphasic bomb. Hurls a massive experimental explosive at target point. On impact, it explodes with unstable energy, damaging enemies in the blast area and removing all buff. Damage dealt by this skill ignores shield buffs, which is awesome. This is actually usable in SW10 because it will remove. However, if you plan on using this guy for a stripper in SW10, which I really don't recommend, only because this is on a skill 3, which has a long cooldown, you will have to go adept, and you'll need to bring some cooldown reduction buddies with you, because 31 seconds is a long time to wait for a strip. He's just extra cool to have there in SW10, just in case you're running Xenia and Xenia derps. Hopefully his skill 3 will be up to back you up. In that situation, if you know you're going to be running him to back up your main stripper, I would still recommend adept on him. If you're not and you're just looking for really massive hits, mortal is the way to go. As good as adept is in spamming it out, skill cooldown is great. It is 99.9% of the time worth the sacrifice to go with skill cooldown versus straight damage. However, if you like big numbers, so you're not just looking at it purely from this is the most efficient thing to do, but you just like seeing big crits like I do. Like a lot of units I'll have, I know I can put adept on them. They'll do slightly more damage, but I do like big number crits, so I typically go with mortal. This guy, I am a fan of Mortal Keen, but I believe I have him built adept. We'll check that in a second. Let's take a look at details, and of course it's attack scaling. Alright, lastly, his synergy trait is accuracy of allied champions are increased by 26%. Let's go ahead and take a look at his gear. Actually, I went brutal on this guy, warding, and as you can see, I haven't leveled my gear. That is something I need to fix.
A few moments later.
Here's his gear. As you can see, I went brutal, warding. The reason why is, you guys know the story. I haven't been able to farm SW as much as I would like. And so this was the best that I had to go with. Alright, let's take a look at the gear. I went attack, crit rate, attack. Alright, here's the stats. If I'm going too fast, feel free to pause the video, take a look. Now, obviously, I still got 2 more levels here and 3 more levels here because you know me, I believe the HP is 100% worth, plus 15ing on a chest. And of course, since he's an attack-based champion and all of his ability skill on attack, I do want to plus 15 this. And it's a 6-star bracer, so it's decent stats. It came out highly defensive, but that's okay. That's okay. All right, here is his actual stats. We've got 22k HP, 570 defense. We've got 92 crit rate, which everyone I know knows I am not happy with at all. There's still a lot of work I have to do on him. There is 1700 attack. We've got 1.4 attack speed, only 62% crit damage, and then only 16% accuracy because I'm not banking on the slow or the strip. I just want him to hit hard, but this crit damage makes that very difficult. I really need more crit. The crit. Of course, this makes me unhappy. I really need more crit damage. 62% really is not much at all for an attacker unit. I would really like to get this guy on mortal, but I gotta get all my ducks in a row and get out there and farm SW10 some more. But until then, this is what we gotta work with. Okay, so let's take him into SW10. Let's see how he does. Okay, so this is the team we're going to be running him with. Obviously, Monis for obvious reasons. For those that are new to the channel, because we have had an influx, Monis is our cooldown reducer, and he is a mortal user, which blocks heals, and then he has blocks buffs, which prevents the boss from throwing up as an invulnerability. He is pretty much used everywhere. Here's our attacker. Here's our stripper. We have Mojo for survivability and the attack up buff for Nitro. And then, of course, we have Yuko for the survivability. So I haven't run this team before. First time you, first time me. So here we go. Ha! What blows up must come down. Makes sense to me, buddy. He's doing decent hits. I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this. I mean, it's good. Now, the question is, do we have enough debuffs to maximize that skill 1 and his other abilities? Alright, they got quite a few debuffs right there. Let's get some more debuffs up, guys. Let's get some more debuffs. We're doing awesome. Oh, yeah, look at all those debuffs. That means his skill 1 is going to be doing more damage. Honestly, I'm really surprised, and pleasantly so, on how fast we're chunking everything down. Like, wow. I am really, really surprised. Now, with Rona in here, obviously, you know, she's going to have some excellent damage. Honestly, I am fairly happy. Alright, he only did 164k, only had speed up for 5 seconds. Rona and Manas really were pulling their weight here. And this really isn't surprising. First of all, Rona has elemental advantage, so already she's going to be doing more damage. She also has a lot more, she has AoE attacks that actually hang out and linger for a while versus just one and done. However, overall, I'm happy with him considering he does not have elemental advantage. So he did great. And remember, he's really not a SW10 champion, but he did very well here. I just use it because SW10 is a good bar. People bring a lot of things in here, so it's just good to see. It's good to see. Now, as you can see, Rona has her own self buff here, plus Mojo has his, so she also got even more of an advantage. This really isn't surprising, given that he doesn't. I'd be interested to see how his blue brother does in comparison to him there. Overall, I'm okay with this. This doesn't say he's bad. This just says he's okay in SW10. Now, he is also primarily recommended a PvP unit, and we will take a look at him in an upcoming PvP spotlight. Alright, so let's hop back to the main menu and give my thoughts really on Nitro, where he should be used, how he is, am I happy with him? So in 5v5, as everyone knows, I am extremely happy with this guy. I just one day said, you know what, I'm going to get good with Bomber. And I've actually really progressed as a gamer with Bomber. And as a 5v5er and a gamer, I guess, with Bomber. So I'm super happy with him. I have no issues with him at all there. In SW10, he's just okay. If you have him, you can bring him along. I do recommend better stats than what I have, because right now, this just doesn't cut it for very competitive SW10 for him to have a place in your team. It just doesn't make the cut. I mean, it doesn't. But as far as getting the job done, if you're new, if he's the unit you have, or you just like him like I do, he will work there. Just a couple of recommendations. One, you can go brutal if you so choose, but make sure that you're going attack, crit damage, attack. Get all your crit rate in substats, so that way it allows you to go with the crit damage bracers. And then on your gear, you're going to want to go with attack. And then on your gear for substats, you're going to want to go with attack, crit rate, crit damage, and then a flex slot. You can go accuracy if you want the debuffs and strip the land more, but it's really, really flexible there. You can go HP, you can go defense for survivability, you know, whatever you feel will better further your gameplay. If you guys have any questions or comments, something that I missed that was just glaringly obvious, you're like, Val, how could you have forgotten that? Go ahead and leave that down in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Also hit notifications so that way you know when I have a new video available. Thank you all for watching. And as always, all you dudes and dudettes out there, stay frosty.